I do like beer, so I created a beer database instead, which allows me to sort of illustrate a couple of interesting points, right? So this is a very small database, right? So if I, this is standard Neo4j browser, right? So there's nothing wrong with it. It's a community version of the latest milestone. So if I do beer brand return count B, right? What I'm doing here is this is a cipher query that says, give me all the beer brands. I'm going to call that B, right? That's just an identifier. Return the count of B. How many beers do I have in this database, right? So 1,594, and this is why I live in Belgium. Per capita, it's great, you know. What's that? So, whoa! You know what? Let's take it outside. Anyway, so this is a particular kind of query. So if I try to find a particular beer that I really like, and I return B, right? I get this particular beer called Orval. And you probably, I don't know, has anyone ever drunk Orval? Ah, good. Yeah. Good. Okay, so I'm happy with that result. Orval is a, you can start clicking around here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is Orval. It's a Trappist beer brewed by the lovely Abbey of Notre Dame d'Orval in the Ardennes in Belgium, and it's 6.2%. I really enjoy it. It's a brown dark beer. It's eating and drinking at the same time. It's kind of a heavy beer, but it doesn't kill you. 6.2%. It's I can still survive that usually. It's a Trappist beer, so you can see some of the other Trappist beers over here, and I want to show you this little graph here because when I saw this, it blew my mind. And it probably won't blow your mind as much as it did mine. But so I really like Orval. I've drunk all of these, right? I really enjoy them, and some of those are actually really famous. For example, West-Vleteren, which is this one over here. They have 4 Trappist beers, and this is the only abbey that I know that has a beer phone. Right? You have to call them up to get beer from them. You can't buy it in a shop or anything. And as you can see, they have 4 beers, right? And the blonde one, I've drank that one. The 8, nice, I like it. The 12, absolutely wonderful, but it will kill you. The 6, West-Vleteren 6, I'd never heard of it. And I'm like, how is this possible? Right? How is this possible? Because all of a sudden, I like Orval, 6.2%. There's this other Trappist beer, West-Vleteren 6, that has the same alcohol percentage. Why am I not drinking this? Right? Turns out that it's really expensive. Right? Not only do you have to call them up, but you actually have to become a monk to drink this. It's no, it's the beer that they don't sell. It's the beer that the monks drink themselves. And you know what? I'm not doing that. So this was interesting. So it's like screaming recommendations at me, right? The graph is screaming recommendations at me. So there's lots of other things that you could ask of it, right? So for example, beers from the same brewery as Duvel, another beer that I really enjoy. Duvel brews by a brewery. Duvel is of a beer type. There's other beers brewed by the same brewery, and I'd like to see which other beers those are, right? And I run that, and I get a list of beers brewed by the Moordgat brewery, which is kind of interesting. But this was my favorite that I want to show you, right? So look at this one. This is something that would be very painful to do in a relational database, right? It's basically trying to find paths between things, right? Got these 2 beers, Duvel and Orval, right? I enjoy both of them. Duvel is 8.5%. It's a blonde beer. It's a high yeast beer. It will kill you. Orval is a eating and drinking beer. It's a lot lighter, but it's a brown beer. It's a Trappist beer. So what am I doing here? So I'm taking two jetpacks, two anchors, right, landing on two parts of the graph, making it local to those two parts of the graph, right? And then I'm saying, give me an algorithm, all the shortest paths, to see how those two are connected to each other. Right? And I can just say star. I don't need to say anything about, the types of, I can, but I don't have to say anything about the types of connections that are interesting to me. Or, I don't have, I have to formulate a hypothesis or anything. I can just say, give me those connections. And this was like my second epiphany, right? So this one here. So here's Duvel, here's Orval, right? Like this one, like that one. There's two beers that I really need to taste. It's screaming recommendations again, Hexamie beer, which is like the witch beer if you translate it from Dutch, and Wildringhout. And I was so happy last June I found this one. I haven't tasted. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. Yeah, I mean, 6.2%, and it's a high yeast beer. It's a very nice one. Haven't found this one yet. I don't know how I could get it. And the funny thing is, I found it in Holland, not in Belgium. Yes, a big beer shop in Holland. Anyway, so this pathfinding operation. I mean, remember Euler, right? This is something that we will find time and time again in graph databases. It's super powerful, super interesting stuff, and you will actually find insights that you wouldn't be able to find otherwise.